President Biden is making a long-awaited trip to our neighbor up north. It's his first visit to Canada as president. He'll be meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. CBS News correspondent Christina Ruffini is following the trip from Ottawa, Canada. Christina, what's on the agenda?
Well, there's a lot on the agenda, John, and partially it's because it is so long delayed. You know, it's a bit of like going to dinner with a friend that's a really close friend. So, you just keep canceling. And before you know it, it's been 6 months and you two haven't seen each other. In this case, President Biden was supposed to come here before COVID. It kept getting pushed off. And now he's finally arriving. He touched down just a little while ago. At the top of the agenda is something that's also on the top of American foreign policy agenda. And that's China, right? Not too long ago, we had those unidentified floating objects above Canadian and U.S. airspace. That's something the two leaders are going to talk about. They're also going to talk about NORAD, that air defense system Canada has pledged to invest in NORAD, invest in radar, kind of improve the system. They want to do it over the next couple years, and the U.S. is saying it's not fast enough and is going to try to push them to invest more. Another big international issue is Ukraine. Of course, the countries have been lockstep on the same page when it comes to sanctions against Russia, when it comes to support of Ukraine. But you're probably going to hear from the U.S. a push to get Canada to meet that 2% NATO threshold. It's consistently behind in keeping up its NATO bills, if you will. There are some other economic issues that they're going to work out. Now, keep in mind, these two economies are very much intertwined. But the two countries also have the longest international land border in the world, and immigration is going to be at the top of the agenda. Now, interestingly, because we often hear about immigration coming into the U.S., this time one of the big issues is immigration coming into Canada. There's a bit of a loophole with asylum seekers up in upstate New York, and the Canadians have asked the Biden administration to help address this and stop this so that these migrants are applying for asylum in the U.S. rather than coming into Canada and then getting to stay. So there's a lot on the agenda. There's a short trip. He's only here for about 24 hours, and we'll see if they can get through all of it.
And one more question, Christina, add one more thing to talk about. They both have a common interest in the deteriorating situation in Haiti. I assume that'll come up.
Yes, the U.S. has said, and just a few minutes ago on Air Force One, the press secretary spoke about the fact that the U.S. believes that in order to stabilize Haiti, it's going to need some sort of an international peacekeeping force. Now, the issue is the U.S. doesn't want to lead that effort for a lot of reasons, including there's a very contentious history with the U.S. and armed efforts in Haiti. So they're asking Canada to kind of take the point there, and Canada so far has been really resistant to that. Both countries agree there have to be some sort of intervention to help that country, to help the government wrestle back control from these gangs who have basically taken control of the island at this point. However, nobody really wants to be the first one to raise their hand and do that. So that's something you're going to see these two allies kind of squabble about a bit, but likely you're going to hear it's going to end up a question for the UN.
All right, Christina Ruffini in Ottawa, Canada. Thanks so much.
Thanks, John.